All right, so starting in section 2, we're going to look at another Islamic gunpowder empire, the Safavid Empire, which is a neighbor to the Ottomans and its arch rival. All right, and so we're going to be looking at the history of the Safavid Empire. We're going to do it in the form of a flow chart. Now, if you were in class, we did this flow chart together in class. So the Safavid Empire was founded by a guy named Shah Ismail in a place called Azerbaijan. Remember, the Ottomans started in the Anatolian Peninsula, right? So the Safavids start in Azerbaijan. If you were the ruler of the Ottomans, you're a sultan. Ruler of the Safavids, you're a shah, the Persian word for king. So Azerbaijan is right by the Caspian Sea. We'll look at it on a map in just a second. And so Shah Ismail then begins to expand the empire and captures area of modern-day Iran and Iraq. So it started right by the Caspian Sea, right there where I have circled on the screen, and then it conquered areas of modern-day Iran and Iraq, what we used to call Persia. You can see it in the middle there. And to the left of it, in green, you see the Ottoman Empire, right? What will be its rival. And then to its right, you see another Islamic gunpowder empire that we'll see later on in this chapter, the Mughal Empire. So it's stuck in between two really big, powerful empires, which kind of stinks for the Safavids. Right? Now, war will eventually break out between the Shiite Safavids and the Sunni Ottomans. We learned in section 1 that the Ottomans were Sunni Muslims. The Safavids are Shiite. And Sunnis and Shias don't always get along, like Catholics and Protestants have not always gotten along in the history of Christianity. So war breaks out between the two, and it does not go well for the Safavids. See, the Safavids, right, they want to use Shia Islam as a unifying force within their empire. It has multiple ethnic groups, so they figure, okay, if we're all the same exact kind of Islam, that will unite us. So their Safavid, their Shia faith is very important to them. And what started to happen between them and the Sunnis is that the Safavids were trying to convert Sunnis within the Ottoman Empire to Shia. And these Ottoman sultans did not like that, so war breaks out between the two. The Ottomans are better. They're better armed. They get guns first. They have artillery first. Their training is better. The army is better. It's more modern for the time period. So the Ottomans eventually defeat the Safavids, capture Azerbaijan, the homeland, forcing a ruler named Shah Abbas, to move his capital to Isfahan. Now, when Shah Abbas took over the Safavid Empire, they were already at war with the Ottomans. He didn't start that war. He took over a losing war. So he cut his losses and surrendered. And he lost Azerbaijan, the homeland, and had to move the capital to Isfahan. So you move the capital from Tabriz to Isfahan, deeper into the empire. But Shah Abbas, he worked smart, not hard. Shah Abbas realized the reason why we couldn't win is because the Ottomans were better. Their technology was better, their training was better, their army was better. So what he's going to do is he's going to reach out to the rivals of the Ottomans, the Europeans. And Shah Abbas is going to hire Europeans to come to the empire to train his army in modern warfare, to train his army on how to use firearms, to train his army on how to use artillery. And then the Safavids and the Europeans are going to tag team with each other against the Ottomans, their fellow rivals. And he's able to regain Azerbaijan. So Shah Abbas is actually going to bring the empire to its greatest height. So when he takes over, right, he has to give up the homeland. It's a disaster. By the time he passes away, though, the empire is at its greatest height because of him reaching out to the Europeans to get that training. But after him, they don't have any more good shahs like the Ottomans after Suleiman. No more good sultans. After Shah Abbas, no more good shahs. And the Safavids begin to follow a strict version of orthodoxy as its empire begins to decline. You see this in multiple empires. The empire begins to fall apart. They get super duper religious. The Romans did it as well. And there's nothing wrong with orthodoxy. That's just traditional religious beliefs, a vocabulary word. Every religion has orthodoxy. You have to have orthodoxy to have a religion. Orthodoxy is good, unless there's too much of it, unless it becomes strict, where it doesn't allow freedom of thought. What started to happen in the Safavid Empire, once famous for its education and its universities, particularly in Isfahan, it created a culture where it was not okay to ask questions. It was not okay to challenge things. See, that's the bad kind of orthodoxy. The good kind of orthodoxy says, hey, this is what we believe and this is why we believe it. But within this framework, you can have all kinds of freedom of thought and expression. That's good orthodoxy. Bad orthodoxy is, this is what we believe. This is only what we believe. This is only what we'll talk about. We will not ask any questions. We will not have freedom of thought. We will not be inquisitive. Just do as you're told. Shut up and know your role. That's not good. An empire, a culture can't grow. It can't flourish under that kind of orthodoxy. It's like chocolate. Chocolate's fantastic. Chocolate is amazing. You eat 5 pounds of chocolate, though, in a given sitting. That's bad. It's the same with orthodoxy. So what begins to happen is it begins to decline until eventually there's this ruler named Shah Hussein who loses Isfahan, the magnificent capital of the empire, and it descends into anarchy. Another vocabulary word, chaos, disorder.